around and introduce themselves. So I'm Sandra Leek, Director of Health Services and the SHAC advisor for the district.
Gwen Perkins, member of Mary Immaculate Church and an interested party in SHAC.
Renee Putter, Director of Athletics for CFB.
Ms. Graham, are you on?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Kim Graham, Benefit Coordinator, Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD.
And Mr. Dickerson, would you like to go next?
Brian Dickerson with Carrollton Fire Department.
Okay, Catherine?
Who's next?
I can't hear Catherine, but Catherine Carlin, she's also a member of SHAC. Alex?
Alex Segal, Sampex 5-star Ford in Carrollton and parent of a graduate from 2016 and a long-term member of the SHAC committee.
Thank you. Betsy?
Betsy McKinney, School Age Parenting Program with the school district.
And Kathy?
Kathy Riojas, CFB parent and member of the SHAC committee.
Sylvia?
Sylvia Masueda. I'm a CFB interpreter and I'm also a community member.
Sally?
Sally Derrick as school board trustee and parent of 2 high school students.
And Jonathan?
Jonathan Wilk, health PE and athletics specialist.
And Aida, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, ma'am. This is Aida, parent of middle school.
All right. Ms. Barrientos? Well, Kenny Barrientos, she's a parent of students within the district as well. Ms. Brady? Okay. And then we also have Kim Brady. Ileana, are you able to?
I'm here.
Yes. We're just going around introducing ourselves.
Oh, hi guys.
Would you like to share your name and your association with SHAC?
Sure. My name's Ileana Garza. And I was a chair on the SHAC.
Yes. Yes, and would you like to share your other role that you'll be starting soon?
Yes, newly elected school board member.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I see you clapping, Alex. Thank you.
Okay, I think Linda, you haven't introduced yourself yet.
I'm Linda Vilmoret. I'm one of the nurses in school health services.
And then Brad, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Brad Kennedy, and I'm a parent of 2 that are in the school district.
And Mr. Morse, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Mersch, Associate Superintendent.
All right. Well, we'll move forward. I'd like to remind everyone the mission and purpose of SHAC is to advise and assist the Board of Trustees to ensure that local community values are included in health instruction. And our goal tonight is to finalize the recommendations that this body will make to the Board of Trustees. So I'd like to, as you all may have seen from the email, our chairperson, Dr. Drenny Chen, is not able to join us this evening, and Ms. Perkins will review the Health Education Subcommittee information for us. So Gwen, if you'd like to take it away.
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. In April, on the 20th of April at 6 p.m., several members, interested parties, staff, subcommittee of SHAC met to review the Goodhart-Wilco information for the health education program. Various members were in attendance. Do I need to read the names? We didn't clarify. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry about that, Gwen. No, you don't have to read all the names. It's just basically the summary will suffice.
Gotcha. Roughly 15 to 20 people were present. In the beginning of the presentation, Mr. Hector Morales, a representative from Goodhart-Wilco Publishers, presented their health education program for high school students. It's also approved by the Texas State Board of Education. The health education program includes 2 textbooks. One is the Texas Health Skills for High School, which is general health information and education, as well as the companion text, which also includes information about sex ed. From the textbooks, there is an opt-in requirement meeting the regulations stated in House Bill 1525, as well as State Bill 9 on sex education, and also covers all the requirements for TEKS. After the discussion and pre-review by the subcommittee and attendees, we approved the information in the documentation, and Alex Segal proposed a motion that we recommend to CIFB, the school district, that we approve and adopt the information textbooks for high school for the 2022-2023 school year. And the vote was second. Parents in the CFB Parent Square were sent out an email to attend along with the staff, and then they will have an opportunity to preview the information and provide their recommendations, and also submit requests and comments. The committee recommended researching supplemental information to the companion text, which is on the sexual education portion of the curriculum. And we agreed to research additional topics such as LGBTQ plus, get information on that, the expansion also of contraception and consent topics as well. Currently, the Goodhart-Wilcox Health Education textbook is approved by TEA, and it does not address any of those topics, but we felt it was good information, the basics. And with that, I request that someone nominate this for inclusion in the minutes, and then we need a second.
I'll nominate that they're accepted.
I'll second.
Can I get the names of the person who started the motion and seconded for minutes, please?
Betsy McKinney.
And Alex Segal, second.
Thank you.
Then our next order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from the last meeting, which was April 20th. And I sent those all out to all of you prior to the meeting.
Sandra, sorry, can we go back? I don't think that we all voted to approve. We made a motion and seconded, but we didn't vote. You know what I mean? So we have the motion and second for the curriculum, but now the body needs to vote.
Okay. How would the body
Okay,
of
so
them vote?
so
Do we take a poll through the chat?
no,
or how would
no.
you
Well,
like to
I
do
mean, I
this
think
virtually?
so what you can say, okay, because sorry, I'm like this parliamentarian nerd. So what you can say is that if we feel that so you would ask if there's any discussion, which, you know, so you could do that. The next thing we can say, if we feel that we're all in agreement to this, then what you could say is by general consent, we will, well, I guess you can't do that. We've already gone past it. So you're just going to have to say, is there any discussion? And then if there's any further discussion, and then you'll say, all those in favor say aye, all those opposed say nay.
Okay. All right. Is there any further discussion?
No.
Sandra, I've got a question. So are we voting on the actual submission of that supplemental material?
We are just voting basically to, it's my understanding to, and Mr. Superintendent Morse, jump in here if I'm wrong, basically to, I think, my understanding is to accept the recommendation of the subcommittee to accept the Goodhart Wilcox curriculum and to explore whether or not this body will recommend any additional materials be considered by the Board of Trustees.
Well, and the additional, the supplementals will also have to be vetted by the SHAC again and voted on for the future as well.
Well, we're not, I don't think we're even there yet. We haven't even
no, we're not there.
On,
no.
We're, you know, kind of one step at a time. We haven't even agreed on what the recommendation will be to the Board of Trustees at this moment in time.
Let me jump in here, and this is just a technicality, because in the previous meeting, it was done in the subcommittee, and it really needed to be done with the full committee. So that's the task of the committee right now, is just voting on the textbook and the textbook only.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, thanks for that.
So
I
guess is the consensus. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I move or make a motion that we vote to adopt the Goodhart Wilcox. And I know we've made the motion, but now I'm just, yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess all in favor of that, of accepting, approving this textbook to the Board of Trustees? Say aye.
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 Aye. So looks like it was unanimous.
Well, once you ask if anybody is opposed, you know if it was unanimous.
And it looks like there were none in opposition. So then our next order of business is to finalize what the recommendation will be to the Board of Trustees. And you all, I believe, received an email from Dr. Chen recommending what she would recommend, the recommendations to the Board of Trustees would be. She recommended that the School Health Advisory Council recommend the adoption of the Goodhart Wilcox Health Curriculum for the core education curriculum for the health students, instruction in CFB. That was her first recommendation. And the second was that the School Health Advisory Council would recommend to the Board of Trustees that they consider and investigate additional evidence-based supplemental opt-in material that specifically addresses sexual orientation, gender identity, and contraception and consent. So is there a discussion, and what would?
I can make a motion. I move that we adopt the Dr. Chen's recommendation as presented.
I second that motion.
The person who seconded the motion, can you give me your name, please?
Oh, it's April Hooper Christensen. Sorry.
Thank you.
And is there any further discussion or consideration of any other additional recommendations?
This is Catherine. I thought her write-up was outstanding.
I concur.
I absolutely agree with that. She is an expert in her field and she did an incredible job.
All right. So it sounds like everyone is in agreement on the recommendations then that will be presented to the Board of Trustees.
I think we still have to vote.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to call for a vote again.
This is like, it's tough on like remote.
Okay, I think I have someone raising their hand. So Renee, did you have?
No, I was voting.
You were voting. Okay. So you're ready to vote. So I guess do all those in favor, if you can raise a hand.
Aye.
Sorry, I'm a call-in.
Okay. And then any opposed? Okay. Mr. Kennedy? Yes.
Yes.
Did you have any comment or?
No, I was going to say that I appreciate the leadership that Dr. Chen had given, and certainly the venue that we have, and then Ms. Leak, your leadership in just providing the structure here. And I'm thankful as a parent that we have the opportunity to give our opinions and how we feel about different things. And I think that it went well. I benefited from everything that was discussed. I came to a different conclusion, but I certainly understand the majority, but I would not vote with the majority on this one.
Okay. All right.
Next business.
Thank you. Then I believe our last order of business is there has been a request for a SHAC bylaw revision subcommittee to work over the summer to revise the bylaws and present their findings or recommendations in the first meeting in the fall. And so Sylvia Meswera, Catherine Carlin, and Linda Villamaret have volunteered to be on this subcommittee. Are there any other parties that would like to work with these ladies to review the bylaws? All right, seeing no enthusiastic people jumping in on that, we will leave it at that then for those three ladies to present their findings to us in the fall. And this was like a speed meeting. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss before we adjourn?
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, so what is the procedure from here out? So we've said that it's suggested that we'd like to add things to the curriculum. Does that all have to be found and ironed out before school starts so that it's ready to go in August when the kids start?
Well, the School Health Advisory Committee or Council, once again, is an advisory body. So you present, we will present those recommendations to the school board, and then it is up to the Board of Trustees whether they move forward or not and how they do that. I believe that if they decide to move forward, that would be a much broader body than just the School Health Advisory Council to determine, the path forward, and if there are materials to be adopted, to evaluate them, so that's a much bigger process than the School Health Advisory Council.
Sure.
And it'll take more time to vet and go through and make that decision than before summer. And that's one of the reasons I think we're not jumping on that. So that way, when we do have that whole decision, it is a holistic approach to it all and very in-depth.
And I want to jump in on this, and that's totally correct. Like Ms. Leek said, you're an advisory committee, so you're making a recommendation to the Board of Trustees for their consideration. And, it's obvious what the recommendation is. And if the board so chooses to accept that and move forward, the district's responsibility is then to go ahead and investigate and vet those materials. And that typically takes an entire year. And then that would be brought back to the board, and it would be for the following year if anything was implemented regarding supplemental materials.
So this next year then will just be what's in the textbook right now?
That is correct.
Okay.
Sandra, may I propose that the packet that we present to the Board of Trustees include the recommendation as well as Dr. Chen's letter and her attachments that was providing the scientific evidence? Is that something that everybody would agree to?
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I think there's a couple of hands up, Ms. Lee.
Yes, Renee, you've been holding your hand up for a while. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
That's okay. I just want to ask that every year that the SHAC committee does give recommendations, not just this textbook one, but over the course of the year through the meetings of meeting and talking about the components of SHAC, we do give recommendations to the board to either to continue the things from last year and the year before that, or we add some new recommendations on it. Has that been discussed, Sandra?
The previous recommendations have been provided. However, I think everyone was just really focused on this particular issue this year. But I mean, it's the council can certainly recommend that we continue with the recommendations from previous years.
I, for one, would like to recommend to continue the recommendations from last year, because that does affect a lot of our things that we do from elementary to middle school to high school in providing CPR to our 5th, 8th, and high school graduating senior requirements. And that helps us continue that, as well as making sure that recess, that we still continue with that. Jonathan, if you want to help me out on some of the other ones that we recommended last year.
Yeah, the structured recess to maintain 135 minutes is really big. It's a great recommendation to carry over. I think Chief Dickerson was going to talk about the CPR aspect of it, and so I would like for him to do that, and then I'll look and talk about the other ones.
I think you're on
Can't
mute.
hear you.
I hate those mute buttons. So I don't know if the whole group knows this or not. Everybody may know all of it, but this past year was the first year that we did CPR for all the 5th, 8th, and 12th graders. We actually recommended it in 20, right, Jonathan? But COVID cut us out at the last minute. So this was the first year we did it. It really went great. The kids loved it. Seemed like the teachers loved it. We thought it was a huge benefit. So anyway, we're hoping we can continue that.
I hope you can too. That's awesome. The community.
Yeah, thank you. And then Jonathan, did you have some other items you wanted to touch on?
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking for last year's recommendations. Give me one moment, please.
Okay.
Okay, the other recommendations from last year was that no elementary class should exceed the state mandated ratio of 45-1 unless there are 2 certified physical education teachers present or a physical education teacher and an aide. Number 3 was continue to make health class at secondary level a priority and to provide continued education for all students in the areas of tobacco, drug, bullying, alcohol, character building, parenting programs, and any other program which addresses risk participating behaviors. Number 4 was continue to make physical activity a priority for all students, teachers, and CFB employees. And the 5th recommendation was to continue to make CPR training a priority for seniors, 8th graders, and 5th graders.
So I'm sorry, those were the physical education recommendations, but there, I have the list here in front of me, but there were some more, right?
Yes, there were a number of others. Would you like to share the other ones, Sylvia?
Yes. Increase counselor staffing at the campuses to address increased mental health needs. Continue the evening Counseling Connections Center, counseling services for staff, students, and families. Continue to provide nurses at each campus to provide safe care and promote quality outcomes. Continue to offer wellness programs and opportunity for staff. And continue to improve communications and to communicate in Spanish to be able to reach a wider audience of parents and to increase family engagement and community involvement. So that's a total of 11, including the physical education ones, and that's the whole list that was presented to the school board last year.
I ask that we continue those recommendations with the addition of the adoption of the textbook and the insert.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the textbook could be a completely separate proposal. So that it doesn't kind of get lost in the rest.
We typically, typically have a report, one report. So, I mean, you could definitely head up the report with that because those are new recommendations, and then include the other supplemental materials that you and Dr. Chen wanted to share. So, do we have a second to the motion that we include the additional 11 recommendations?
I will second as Jonathan Wilk.
Okay. All right. Well, is there any further discussion? If not, I think that wraps up our business for this evening. So thank you all of you for your time and your attention. Oh, and Ms. Riojas, it was a Renee Putter made the motion, the initial motion.
So we had a motion and a second, and once again, we need the vote for it to be formal.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ladies, for keeping me on point on these procedures. So all in favor of presenting the recommendations as per the motion? All right. Any opposed? All right. Then it is official. All right. Thank you all very, very much. And we will adjourn, at 7:29 p.m.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you.
All right.
Have
Thank
a great
you.
summer,
Bye, everybody.
guys.
Good evening.
Have a good summer.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.